So, for the fourth time this year, Tokyo and the prefecture of Okinawa will enter a state of emergency as the Olympics approach. Translation: there's not going to be any Digimon TCG tournaments in Tokyo for the entire month. I just want to play the game. What's going on, folks? YouTube, how you doing? So, as I said before, Tokyo doesn't have any Digimon TCG tournaments, so I'm relegated to playing in my studio with my buddy Obama and wherever else I can get in games. Something I thought that I would do that I think is interesting, though, is I would recap and talk a little bit about the tournaments that are happening across Japan. While Tokyo and the Okinawa are in a state of lockdown, other regions in Japan do not have this restriction. So they are still running tournaments across Japan in smaller places in other prefectures. So I did want to talk a little bit about the decks that are being run, decks that are winning in Japanese tournaments. To give you a bit of background here, Japan is currently under BT6. There's the Classic Collection coming out at the end of July, which will introduce a few new cards. Think of it as kind of like a mini expansion, so to speak. But we won't be receiving BT7 for a while. So we're stuck with BT6, and there's been a lot of interesting decks that have come out, and I think the meta is in a really weird place even now. About a month or so in, or month or two in at this point. All right, so first up, let's take a look at what the top 5 decks in the meta are, and this is rated purely by number of wins. It's not a tier list. This is literally just saying these are the decks that have the most wins. Here's how many wins they have, and I just order them from best to worst. So again, the top 5 are Jesmon Red with 78 wins. This is the number 1 deck in the meta right now. It's actually surprisingly not the most expensive either, which is kind of cool. Second off is going to be Gabumon Blue, which runs the new level 7 Gabumon card with 73 wins, so literally right on the heels of Jesmon Red. Third place is actually a two-way tie between Agumon Red and the Three Musketeers deck with, get this, have 42 wins. Now, if you weren't paying attention before, the other 2 decks above it have nearly double that. If you want to make a tier list, there's definitely a case to be made that S tier and A tier have a pretty big gap. And then finally, the 5th place deck is going to be Titamon Purple, or Titamon Purple, however you pronounce it, with 28 wins. So again, there's that that clear chasm between, or chasm, however you say it, between the top 5 decks, where top 2 are great, 3 and 4 are really good, and then the deck below it, 5th place, is just way down there. Now, if you're looking for a deck, or you're trying to listen for a deck that I did not mention, that means that the deck has done as well as or worse than Titamon Purple, or Titamon Purple. How do you actually say it, though? Let me know in the comments below. I would imagine it's Titamon, right? Anyway, that's it for the top 5 decks so far as of this week. Alright, so tournament results. So this week's tournament results, unfortunately, going to be a bit small just because the sample size is small, and as I said before, Tokyo and Okinawa are not having events because of the state of emergency, so just gotta wait for some bigger numbers. But in the meantime, I've got a couple of decks here that I think the results are at least interesting enough. So number 1 for the week is going to be Gabumon Blue, which had a total of 3 wins, followed by Jesmon Red, which has 2 wins. There's another Jesmon deck that did decently, but it's not focused on Jesmon, so I decided to split it up in this case, and we'll talk about that a little bit later at the end. Followed by a Shoutmon deck. Shoutmon was really popular in BT5, but somehow it's found a way to top in this meta. I tried it in the very beginning when BT6 just dropped. I said maybe there's still some gas here, and from my playtesting, it could not keep up with a lot of the other decks in the meta. So I'm really interested to see how or why this person was able to top with Shoutmon. Maybe it's an anomaly. We'll see next week. Followed by some really weird black Commandramon stuff, man. Once you get past Gabumon and Jesmon, the rest of these decks are just kind of weird. But one win with a black Commandramon deck, which just had a bunch of good stuff, like black Metal Garurumon, followed by what was it? Omegamon's Wart. Just honestly mono black good stuffs. And then right under that is going to be red-black Craniamon. So I said before that Jesmon had 2 wins, but there's another deck that also featured Jesmon, and this is it. Craniamon is a deck that I think is super interesting, considering where the meta is right now with Three Musketeers. But the effects for the Sistermon also work with the Royal Knights, which Craniumon is. So the deck focuses on Craniumon, but it has like some Jesmons, like it runs 2 Jesmons, I guess, as support. I don't really know how to say that. Right below that is going to be Ulforce Vidramon with 1 win, Yellow Security Control, which is, look, if you've been running Yellow since I think BT3, then this is nothing new to you. Followed by a really interesting hard control deck, and then rounding out the bottom there with 1 more win is going to be Yellow-Green Aggro. So again, all those decks, Shoutmon, Commandramon, Craniumon, Vidramon, Security Control, Hard Control, and Aggro only have a single win for the week. And yeah, those are your results. A couple of interesting points or some takeaways for the week. First up, Gabumon. Gabumon has been changing up their lineup a little bit, where instead of running 4 copies of Ancient Garurumon, one of the secret rares from one of the previous sets, they've been cutting the card completely and just running a Gabumon plus the level 7 Gabumon and then some hybrid cards instead. And apparently it's getting results. I mean, you saw it's #1 for the week, 3 wins. I haven't tried it out myself, but I'll definitely do a couple of test builds and see what I can make of it. And you know, if it's interesting, we'll probably make a video on that deck archetype a little bit later. So I guess look forward to that. Following that, Hard Control. Man, Editor Chan, do me a favor. Throw up the deck list, or the picture of the deck list from the results right here, or somewhere on the screen anywhere. But man, this deck, the deck building honestly is like a work of art. The deck just looks so good. Pretty much everything in the deck runs a security effect, including the Geogreymon, the Cordramon, you know, Zwart Defeat, and then you've got a bunch of options which also get security effects. So honestly, you're only not getting security on, I think, 8 cards in this entire deck. So 8 out of 50 cards, you're getting nothing if they're checked on security, and if they are checked on security, then if the other cards you checked on security, usually you either get removal effects or you get security recovery. So it's actually really hard to kill this deck. It's kind of expensive. I'd like to try it out myself, but I might have to wait, because Beelstarmon plus Zwart Defeat are honestly some of the most expensive cards in the series right now. And then finally, Craniumon. So if you're unfamiliar with where the Japanese meta is right now, 3 Musketeers is doing a decent amount of work thanks to Beelstarmon. Also, there's some control decks that run Beelstarmon as well, where they kind of turbo level 7s into the trash and then just start playing Beelstar after Beelstar after Beelstar. And it usually it becomes unbreakable for you. However, Craniumon is a card that cannot be destroyed by Beelstarmon's level 7 options because of its effect, which says blockers can't be destroyed by effects. They have to be, you know, run over. And honestly, that gives Beelstarmon a lot of trouble. And I think that within the coming weeks, we're going to start seeing Beelstarmon going down and Craniumon going up. The fact that Craniumon also synergizes well with Jesmon, which is the top deck in the meta right now, honestly, I think things are looking up for that card. So if you got it in one of the previous sets, hold on to it, because it becomes very relevant, in my opinion, later on. All right, and that's it. That's it for this week's JP tournament review. Again, I'll have some bigger results with more deck lineups in the future. This one was kind of done impromptu, so it's kind of small. And yeah, hopefully at some point we can actually get some games and tournament plays in Tokyo. I would love to go to some tournaments myself at some point, but it's been really hard this year. So yeah, let me know what you think about the results for this week. And yeah, if you have any questions or anything, go down in the comments below. I'll be there chatting as well. If you guys have questions, I'll see what I can do to answer them best as I can. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Y'all be easy. Again, this is not a deck that I've run, but I tried Craniumon in the past. He was interesting. And yeah, well, I'm going to delete this whole thing.